That's because I wasn't speaking. Just getting ready for this atrocious game on Poltava. I just hate this map so much. Oh my god. How am I gonna survive this? It's okay. We can do this. Alright. So we have... let's go. We have Black Panther up here. And his friend is Furio. Interesting name. There's two Wehrmacht. I'll be much less talkative during this game because, yeah, talking a long time really does strain you. Then on the enemy team, we have Slayer and Omni, both bloody Brits. I mean, this one is just gonna be like, my god, my god, my god, my god. Oh well, we'll see. We'll see. Of course, in the early game, Brits are gonna be pretty strong in this matchup. And what the fuck are these two guys doing? There's a fence in here. They can't really shoot at each other. Baddies. MG42. Of course. Oh, looks like we have an MG spam from Black Panther. Well, quote-unquote spam. He's got two MGs. That may not work that well against the Brits. And one of the reasons why I hate this map is the way the points are laid out. You have like the strategic points that are very kind of swindly, as you can see. And so they're connected in weird ways. It's not good to look at. It's just pretty ugly, to be honest. Anyway. The Brits are doing pretty well because they're just using their infantry sections superior early game to good advantage. And here comes the sniper from Furio. But he has to run away, so that's kind of okay for him. The Brits are going to get their own sniper in response, which is a pretty good decision, actually, because infantry sections are pretty weak to the sniper, being only 4 men for models. So now, obviously, the Germans are going to be trying to get themselves back together into shape and into some good map control. But that's going to be a long process. As you can see, Pioneers taking some casualties to build some sandbags. MG42 going to set up in the building. Very good choice because he actually catches out some infantry, puts them to flight. And now, probably should get the MG out because there's this fence that he cannot shoot through. Although, I guess that's good for him as well, so because that means that the sniper can't shoot at him. Mortar pit going down for the Brits, and I'm guessing that we're gonna see a lot of these because it's a pretty good map for mortar pits. It's not that big. And there's a lot of buildings, so I'm guessing that we're going to see at least another one. And actually, he's even putting his sappers in the mortar pit so that he's going to fire faster, which is quite cancerous. Also, artillery from the base going down. They really want to destroy this building and not let the Germans use it. The Germans still kind of doing their thing, getting 2 mortars actually. Very good choice by Black Panther because he's going to have something that can counter this, or soft counter this mortar pit. And it's also going to be very, very good against the infantry sections hiding behind cover. The second infantry section gets through though and manages to get into the mortars, forcing them, at least one of them, to retreat, which is quite good. But the flame engineers, the Flammenwerfers, kind of throwing them away. Oh, would you look at this? The Vickers machine gun is annoying to deal with. Who could have ever thunk it? Anyway, finally we have some push on the mortar pit, but of course it's just too strong of a position. Ooh, AC is running in for Omni. So actually he decided to go with the AC and not with the Bofors. And it's been a while since I've seen anyone go with the AC. His friend Slayer already has the company command post, which is quite impressive. So he's going to be trying to get a quick centaur, I think, because right now he's having problems with these grenadiers moving about all throughout the map. And so, yeah, he wants to try to deal with that. Nice bait by these grenadiers, pulling the enemy infantry into the machine gun. But there's actually an infantry squad that's ready to flank over here, so this might not be the best thing ever.
Soldier can be added to infantry squads now.
Nice nade. Nice nade. Really? Okay. I'm like, are you gonna stand your ground in that? Anyway. We have an AT gun pushing up, and not sure why he built an AT gun, because the Germans don't seem to be getting any armor. Are they gonna get armor soon? Furio doesn't seem to be going for anything like that, and Black Panther eventually, but still not yet. So I guess that's just an early AT gun.
Forces are securing our territory. Fire! Go ahead. Ready for orders. Emplacement under attack.
More flamethrower pushes on the mortar pit. Actually getting a second flamethrower. Is that going to be enough to kill it? Yes, well done. Lots of damage on the mortar pit from those Flammenwerfers. Very good choice by Black Panther. Now what he wants to do, I guess, is start to consolidate his right side of the map, because he's having a lot of problems. As you can see, the infantry sections are coming through and really ruining his day. Yeah, in the center he has done some pretty good work to push back to the Brits, but, you know, doing their own thing.
We are losing a sector.
Damn the sniper. Here comes the artillery on the machine gun. Interesting choice. And yeah, so we have the Germans slowly but surely pushing in from the east, but they still haven't capped these points back, which is a big mistake, because honestly they're just letting the Brits have those VPs and those resources, which they shouldn't be. But at least they're pushing in and getting some pressure in on the Brits from the side, almost killing the sniper with just the grenadiers. Grenadiers themselves getting sniped and almost killed. But with perhaps a bit of a push in the center and taking back these points on the right, the Germans can come back into a position of parity. Right now they are below when it comes to the VPs. As you can see, they are at triple cap for the Allies, and 359 points to 444 doesn't seem to be all that great for the numbers. But Black Panther is starting to get his tier 4, and Furio has 240 manpower that he can use to get out some vehicles. Sorry, not manpower, fuel. Not Centaur was built by Slayer, Cromwell. So he's pushing into the base of a Cromwell instead of the Centaur, and I mean, I guess that's working out, but could have been working out better, I guess. Nice mortar. Recon run, or actually a smoke run. A smoke recon run, sorry, it's both. What can the Germans do to break this British, not really Sim City, but defensive kind of playstyle? Well, the mortars are a good start in the right direction, but they really need to start getting out some armor. And I feel like they can catch the Brits really off guard with this, because they've even got a fuel cache, and they have decent control over their own fuel. So they're not that far behind compared to how much they're behind when it comes to the VPs and in general to how much the British have been doing well. The fuel situation for the Germans is not that bad, so they're pretty equal in teching. As you can see, Black Panther is going for a Brumbear, and I actually kind of agree, because I think that this would be a choice that allows him a little bit of extra anti-infantry to break, again, these defensive positions of the British infantry, and also can deal with, of course, these anti-tank guns and such. So I feel like that's a good choice, but it's going to need to be protected by any, you know, anti-tank guns or anything like that against enemy tanks that might want to try to flank it and kill it. Panzer Grenadiers absolutely smashing an infantry section. That's quite good. And actually, yeah, the Cromwell's still doing his thing. I hate how the mortar crew just can't get killed unless every other artillery piece. Yeah, well, or unlike every other artillery piece. Yeah, well, that's just how it works. Because it would be just too easy to recrew it, since it's an emplacement. It actually can get decrewed, I think. There's a slight chance, but, you know, not nearly as high as some of the other things that are around. This infantry unit should be very careful, because that HP of the thing is almost, you know, dead. The house is almost dead. Thankfully, he survived. He managed to somehow Panzerfaust through the building, which is something else. Well done. Slayer has a lot of manpower that he can get some commandos with. Infiltration command. Oh, it's mobile assault. I hate mobile assault. You'll see why. Or maybe you won't. Who knows? Depending on how good he is at mobile assault. Still, though, he can get some infiltration commandos. He's gonna be careful, which is good, about getting them, because I don't know, I guess he's afraid of like the Brumbear and other units killing them too quickly, which is quite good, because those infiltration commandos are pretty damn squishy. They're just gonna die quickly. Panzerfaust. Poor AC. Man, Black Panther is just all over the map. Look at this. He's got his troops on every front. And he's pushing in now with his MGs as well to get some defensive emplacements set up where he has capped those points. What he also needs to do, though, is that his ally needs to come in and support him. If the Germans can get some, again, good defensive, solid defensive positions with their MGs, they're going to be in a much better position, because then they can sort of be sure that they're going to have at least equal resources and perhaps superior VPs, you know, having 2 VPs instead of 1, which is going to go a long way towards the Germans being able to work towards their late game without that many worries, you know, about having to like buy X unit or Y unit to recover from any disadvantages that they might have. How are the snipers doing? Of course, there's people joining things on Steam, so I can't see. Anyway, 13 kills for sniper number 1. German sniper is dead. Yeah. He's probably been dead for a long time, I just missed it.
The squad of pioneers has arrived.
And here comes the land mattress. So dangerous. Z. It's doing so much damage to these support weapons. Hey, at least it killed the AT gun crew. Wait, you actually recruit the mortar? I myself would have just killed them and then recruit the mortar. Well, I guess that's a pretty good idea. Just be sure that you can keep the mortar. Stu getting chased down like a dog by the Cromwell. Although there's the Panzer trying to help with its stunning shells, which are gonna be. It's gonna be difficult to hit the Cromwell with the Brim Bear, but oh well, that's fine.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Big British blob coming up in the center, and here we're starting to miss these German machine guns. Machine gun number 1, machine gun number 2, machine gun number 3. Still a little bit too far to the right. Needs to be helping out in the center. Oh. Damn. Damn the firepower of these Brens. Look at this, they're just gonna kill the machine gun crew before I can set up and fire. This is starting to be very much difficult to control. They're gonna need to start to ramp up their anti-infantry. And you might be saying, well, they already have a Brim Bear, you know? But they need something else. They need like a Panzerwerfer. Although they did get a kill with one of the rifle grenades on one of those squads, so good wipe. So though the Germans need a little bit more of a surefire way to deal with the blob, and they need a little bit more of a surefire way to hold their points, because it's the map control right now that's really in the favor of the Allies, if they're able to push in and be aggressive, as they are right now. Because the Brits aren't shy of getting some very nasty vehicles late game and be very strong. Just like the Germans. So this isn't like the Soviets, where you, depending on the doctrine that you're facing, you might not have to face two strong enemy vehicles in the late game. With the Brits, it's just gonna be difficult for the Germans, no matter what. So that the Germans are having so much difficulty right now, it's very indicative of things to come, I'd say. They're going to need to be very careful about their moves, and especially how they spend their resources. So Panthers on the field, as you saw. And, oh boy, these lamb mattresses. They're getting so many kills. Yeah, at least he's got 6 kills, you know? Oh, wow, he's actually wiped the squad. Damn. That's, that was unexpected. Well done, I guess. Panzer Fünf. Wow. Such German. Much wow. Bofors on the left-hand side defending the VP. And the Ostwind. This might not be the best choice ever, but it's at least some anti-infantry. And oh, look at this. This is its like dream moment. It can just fire on a blob of infantry. Still though, needs to be afraid of this anti-tank gun. Run away, my little Ostwind. Crew has been paralyzed.
Enemy has killed a machine gun crew.
This Stuk should probably run away. What are you doing still there? Run! Okay, good. Finally runs away. Didn't even manage to get one single penetrating hit on the Churchill. And the Panthers standing in the fire range of the anti-tank one. Elephant Tank Destroyer, so Black Panther is the Jaeger Armor Doctrine, of course, so that means that he can get the Elephant. Lamb Mattress yet again firing in. What is this Burn Bear trying to do? I don't think that this is the best idea ever. Because I think he's trying to flank, but Burn Bears don't flank. Anyway, the Germans just need to break this kind of central redoubt. And they need to continue putting harassment on the left. What they can do is they can just send a unit around like this. And avoid the Bofors. You know, by moving in like this. And then going around and capping the VP. That would be, I feel like, very useful because they're down to 230 points, which isn't nearly as much as they would want. And yeah, the Brits are still at 388, so they're gonna need to start to think about this VP game, considering that game is starting to head into the late stages. So it's gonna be much more difficult to win by anything that isn't VPs. What are these infantry sections doing? They're just coming around to kill some pioneers. But at least they can get a good flank off, I think, on this machine gun. Although the Sturmpanzer is waiting for them. Churchill and the other British player is pushing off on the left. He's actually stolen a pack, which is a great move for him. And yeah, the Brits at this point, they just kind of need to wait. And they need to use their better just overall position to their advantage. Which means that for them winning this game, it's going to be a lot easier than for the Nazis.
One of our anti-tank guns is gone.
Wow. Even the Stu goes down to the Churchill. That's a lot of land mattress. Z.
Ready for orders.
Yeah, ready for orders. Anyway, not really much is going on. It's just kind of like both sides really headbutting over the center. Although finally the Brits are going to reopen the right flank. The Germans really need to come back on the left and try to do something there. Ooh, actually using the infiltration camouflage to get in on the VPs and cap. Wow, just barely didn't manage to neutralize it. Damn. Just barely. Anyway, good usage of the Panzer Grenadier Cloak. Good usage of the Panzer Grenadier Cloak. And building a Bofors out here, really, this is pretty close to the enemy base. That is way more ambitious than you should be trying
The
for.
enemy are attacking an emplacement.
There he goes. LOL.
Squad.
Churchill Mark 7 infantry tank.
The enemy have killed a land mattress crew.
Oh, that was so great. Anyway, land mattress crew is dead. I'm not sure how. There's a bit of a German attempt at pushing into the center right now. But we have the British tanks just pushing into the German base, and this is pretty bad because... Where's the second Churchill? Why is he not following in? Oh, well, this means that the first Churchill is likely to just die in here. He's trying to destroy the artillery piece, which is a good choice. But even if he kills the artillery piece, I don't think it's worth to lose a Churchill just to kill an artillery piece. So now he's going to have to pop the smoke and try to run away, but it's just probably not going to be enough, considering that, yeah, it's in pretty bad shape, you know. Come on, Panther. Yes. Come on, go, Panther. Rear armor hits. In the meantime, there's a bit of a flank on the right. The Brumbear is going to die to the Cromwell anti-tank gun. So at least the British get something in return. And actually, the Churchill still lives. Panther does mercilessly chase him down like a dog and finish him off. That is very, very good. We have the Elephant tank destroyer, of course, being built by Black Panther now that he has lost the Brumbear, which really overloads him into the anti-tank. Puts him at a kind of deficit in terms of anti-infantry, but we'll see if he can deal without having a lot of anti-infantry. The artillery from the British base is trying to, I think, counter battery. Wait, can he even counter battery? No, he cannot. At least. So I guess he got close enough to throw away smoke. I have no idea how he did that, but you know, there's a bit of an artillery duel going on between the Brits and the Germans. Yet more artillery. It's actually the land mattress firing into the base because he's Vet 2 and he's got a lot of range. Well done. Lots of land mattressing. Wow, he's actually going to destroy the artillery piece. Well done. I guess. However, the Cromwell did die. This puts the Brits in a position where they don't really have much mobility to counter the Elephant. So the two main problems for the teams, or rather, respectively the main problems for the teams, for the Germans, they're lacking in anti-infantry, so the British infantry is really pushing them far into the base and allowing the Brits to have some very superior map control and also pushing back kind of the German area of, you know, where their units are. It's kind of giving the land mattresses more range because they can push up further. Whereas for the Brits, oh wow, he actually killed the sniper, well done. Whereas for the Brits, the problem is going to be that they don't really have the mobility to deal with the elephants, so their armor is going to be in deep shit for a while. And yeah, we can kind of see that working, and because the British tanks right now are just having to run away. Again, I would really love for the Germans to come around, get one of their units to sneak around through like this and get behind and cap that VP. It would be so helpful for them. They are down to 133 VPs. The Brits are at 361. Let's see. All that the Brits need to do is they need to play a little bit more proactively. And I don't think the Germans would have then the initiative left to essentially recapture the VPs and get it done with. But if the Brits continue to play very, very passively, they might just give the Germans enough of a chance to rebuild and gain back the initiative, and by then, you know, anything could happen. 17 pounds are actually destroyed by the Elephant. Well done. Now the Panther is trying to run away from the Churchills, not exactly difficult, especially because if the Churchills get too close to the Elephant, you know, in the sight range, this could be pretty bad. Smoke. Get more artillery. Triple cap for the Brits. 2 minutes the Germans have. If they don't recap one of these points before 2 minutes, they lose. Now it's the race. What they need to do is they need to utilize their mobility as opposed to the Brits. However, again, they are still going to need to deal with some superior enemy infantry, so it's going to be difficult. Oh, wow. No! That great grenade. That's going to prevent the Germans from recapturing the center VP, which is going to mean even more VP drain from the Brits.
Good news. The ability is ready for use.
And as you can see, the superior British infantry managed to capture a lot of the right side, although thankfully here they have a machine gun that's helping to push into these guys and maybe forcing them back. They don't have this luxury in the center though, which is still neutral, and they don't have this luxury on the left, which is still controlled by the Brits. So as you can see, vehicle superiority, but infantry inferiority. And in fact, in my opinion, getting this Panther out was a mistake. I think a Panzer IV would have been more helpful for Black Panther, because it would just be more helpful at dealing with enemy infantry.
We must stiffen our resolve. We are down to 75 points.
That free Panther doesn't care about anything, just moves in. And wait, what? What? It's not firing. Okay, kills the thing. The Churchill. Second Churchill. Now it's in trouble because, yeah, the Churchill's getting fired on by the Elephant as well as the Panther. The Panther is spotting for the Elephant, although it seems like the Sherman Firefly gets around, and that's very, very, very bad for the Panther. It's dead. Well done. Still though, here comes a Stuka close air support on the AT gun. It's braced just at the last second, so it's invulnerable. In the center, they're not taking the VP, which is very bad. The second Panther tried to come in, but of course, with the two Fireflies not having anything in their rear and everything in their front, they're just able to push them back really easily with their 17-pounders. And despite some of their issues, the Brits are still looking pretty strong. If they can kind of deal with these last few German units and push them back, then they're gonna be golden. Lots of damage coming in on the Panther, although one of those Fireflies is in big trouble. Oh, I think that these Fireflies are in big shit. Oh, he missed. That is quite unlucky for Black Panther. Anyway, now he's chasing down the two elephants, or sorry, not elephants, Fireflies. It's not the best choice ever. As you can see, there goes the main gun of that guy, of the Panther. But both of these guys are at damaged engine, but the elephant just keeps missing. This is so unlucky. Is he gonna chase? No, he's not gonna chase. He could have killed both of them. Oh my god. He played defensively, which is not a bad idea. I mean, if he chased down into here, he could have been surrounded by, you know, flanked by other British vehicles, so that might have been bad.
The territory is out of contact.
At least he did not do that. Hello? Game sound. Anyway, so as you can see, the British infantry superiority once again coming into play. The Germans are down to 66. The Allies are at 332. And since the Germans don't really have any ways to deal with the remnants, really, of the British blobs, we have these infantry sections are just able to push in and take these points, these VPs. And with the VP situation being the way it is, it does not matter how many elephants you have. If you cannot cap VPs, you're going to lose. And the Germans right now are not playing the Soviets. They can't use their T-34s to cap or anything like that. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to go the way of the Allies right now, because I don't see a way in which the Germans win. Finally, a Broom Bear is actually going to come in on the left, and maybe that's going to be enough. But here comes the two Fireflies. Fireflies using those tulips, they stun the elephant. They can come in and finish off the elephant with their 17 pounders. Doesn't penetrate though. That's very, very unlucky for him. He's almost finished off one of the elephants. He is right now taking fire though from the Panther, so he needs to focus on the Panther. And moving in with Fireflies into close range is always a bad idea because these things reload slowly and turn their turrets even slower. So the Panther is able to destroy one of the Fireflies. In the center, we have a fight in which the Churchill is trying desperately to defeat these two infantry squads that are moving in. He's taking fire from the anti-tank gun, but that's fine because as long as he takes these Panzer Grenadiers and tells them where to go and helps these infantry sections to cap these points, it doesn't matter because the right side VP is capped by the Allies. So it doesn't matter that the two Fireflies are dead. We are about to see another triple cap, and with 34 VPs left for the Axis, if the Germans cap any VPs, it is going to be only half a minute before they lose. And so I'm thinking that right now, since there's absolutely no German infantry, despite the German victories when it comes to the armor, and despite their good plays in the late game in terms of how they use their tanks, they're going to lose. So that's going to be it.
25 points. Do not let them defeat us.
I'm thinking that that's going to be it. There goes the Grimbear,
I fear we are
and that's
losing.
the end.
We have 10 points remaining.
Well done to the Allies. Relatively well done to the Germans as well. And, yeah, that Panther. I mean, more tanks wouldn't have helped him that much in the end. I don't think so. There seems to be an increase of people in the usage of the Wehrmacht. Really now. Oh, damn.